Today's a good day. Today is a good day. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And I watched First Shift. It did not have audio description. I knew it didn't. But I saw this and I had to. I just had to see because that blows my mind. This is Uwe Boll's newest movie, and not enough people are talking about it. Um, it is 2024, and this man is still making movies. He is still getting budgets. People are still signing on the dotted line to get in his movies, and it's mind blowing. It is absolutely mind blowing that people are still. So I wanted to see because I was like, what was the last Uwe Boll movie that I saw? And I can't remember what it was. Somewhere around like Tunnel Rats, probably, which actually at the time arguably was his best movie. Like, arguably was starting to resemble a movie. He was starting to move away from shitty video game adaptations, and he made this like very sort of mediocre war movie that said that just it's the best thing that can be said about it is it's not terrible. Like it's not great. It's not the best war movie ever. But also for Uwe Boll, it's the first time where he showed competency in filmmaking. So finally agreeing to stop directing video game adaptations might have been the best thing for his career. And this is not a video game adaptation. This is like a buddy cop movie with a cast I don't know who they are. I don't know a single person in this cast. I didn't click on each IMDb profile to be like, oh, well, that person was in that movie. That's where I know them from. Because I don't, I don't know any of these people. So, but this is Uwe. Uwe Boll is here for this, and I am here for him. I am here for Uwe. And this is the best thing I've seen him ever direct, and didn't have audio description. And I've been cited through some of his movies. I have sat through Blood Rain, Postal, Alone in the Dark. What are some other of his movies? I can't even remember all of them, but yeah, I visually got to see some of them. He is a very troubled director. He famously got in the ring with who did he fight? I can't remember. It was like a critic, and he actually fought them in a boxing match, and he won. Uwe is such an interesting person. I think he lives in Canada now. He was a German filmmaker, but I believe he's Canadian. Um, so he's a super interesting person. Um, it's like if Ed Wood was allowed, like, just kept making more and more movies. And it's like, how long would it take for Ed to have gotten to a point, you know, where, uh, because for some other directors, they've gone the other direction. Rennie Harlan, for example, is somebody who started out with all the promise in the world. When you look at some of his stuff in the 90s, like Cliffhanger, people still are like, that's a great action movie. That's Rennie Harlan. He also just directed The Strangers Chapter 1, which is close to being one of the worst movies of his career, if not the worst movie of his career. So, it gets really sort of debatable. He also did like an action movie that felt very out of place for him fairly recently, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but I know I've seen 2 films of him recently. But I haven't seen any of Uwe's stuff in like 10 years. So when I heard there was First Shift and it was on Paramount Plus and it didn't have audio description, I was like, you know what? I need accessibility, but I'm fucking watching a Uwe Boll movie today. So it's just a pretty standard buddy cop movie. Actually, his score here is kind of cool. It's not super original, but he uses that sort of very sort of like gritty detective. Um, it's very sort of stereotypical, but he knows what music should be here, if that makes any sense. So like it's an understanding of cinema that he's actually showing, that he seems to understand what is working. And it feels very much like Training Day in that you get somebody who's on first day on the job paired up with a grizzled cop. Um, so he's now making like a formulaic movie, and it has nothing to do with video games. The expectations are really low because he's not working with any actor whose career he could possibly ruin. Just a whole bunch of fresh faces. It's not bad. it's I've I mean, there are plenty of scenes where like there's action happening and I definitely need audio description. So sadly my grade is unwatchable due to lack of audio description, not unwatchable due to Uwe Boll. But um yeah, I would be interested to see this with audio description. I think this might be the best movie of Uwe's career. I think he might finally be hitting his stride. Um, and what does that mean for Uwe? Man, would I go positive on this? Maybe with audio description, I might be willing to go slightly positive on this. I think Uwe's worked himself up to where I would say there's a floating grade of a C plus, which means it could go to a B minus or down to a C. But I kind of had fun with this. It feels like the kind of buddy cop action movies that we used to make. It feels a little bit like a diet Training Day in some ways, except for I don't want to imply that the same twist happens with the guy, because it doesn't. It's just that sort of it has the same sort of vibe, first day on the job vibe that film does have. So Uwe made a movie, guys, in 2024, and you didn't even know it. Look at that. And I reviewed it. It's out there in the world. I saw an Uwe Boll movie in 2024 to add to my list of 400 2024 titles. So I feel complete now. And thank you, Mr. Boll, for continuing to just persevere against all odds, because from Blackwoods wasn't his first film, right? He had to have done something before that. But from Blackwoods to this, you've come a long way, sir. Just, yeah. And of course, I can't think of the name of it. The zombie movie that he did. God, I forget. Man, some of these movies are so bad, my brain is deleting them. House of the Dead. Just, but yeah. So, wow, I'm mildly impressed. He's built on Tunnel Rats, and he's gradually making better movies. So, if you're interested and you can see, check out First Shift and see if I'm not wrong. See if he has not actually gotten better as a filmmaker since the days of Alone in the Dark and In the Name of the King and those kind of movies. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.